My name's Darin Spurlock. I'm from Miami, Florida. The best thing about having a big brother is that he's been through the things before, so he's able to give you the heads up, and he kind of knows what's happening. And I guess the worst thing is that he's always trying to tell you what's going to happen because he thinks he knows it all. That's probably about it.
My older brother, Brett, has always criticized and mocked everything I do and say. So years after finding my own friends, I decided I didn't need to be the little brother. I stopped following him around. Then, in the summer of 2006, because none of my friends wanted to go, I invited him to follow me on a trip through Spain. When I was planning this trip, many people said, "Oye, bro, you have to go to Ibiza, bro." Now that I've gone, I highly recommend you do not go to Ibiza. A club is a club, just a room crowded with drug-induced fist pumping to music that goes oomts, 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 tigga oomts, tigga oomts. Still, because my brother wanted to, we stayed until the club shut down. We'd been up for 24 hours. After, we caught a ferry to Valencia. By the time we arrived, we'd been up for 32 hours. Trudging to the train station in the summer heat of southern Spain, my mirage was a bed, not water. This is when my brother got the idea to go see the running of the bulls. Good ideas rarely occur after you've been awake 32 hours. Pamplona wasn't on the itinerary. Going to Pamplona was logistically impossible. I explained this to my brother at the train station. He said, "Watch the bags. I'm just going to check how much it is to rent a car." Is this what older brothers do? Take over everything? After an hour of watching the bags, I knew he was renting a car. My brother drove first, in the wrong direction. We made a U-turn at some Alcazar, or maybe it was a McDonald's. After 36 hours, sleepless hours, we were back to where we started. A few hours after that, we had to stop for gas. My brother went to ask the attendant for directions. I stared at the options in front of me, Gasolina A and Gasolina B. If you're a frugal college student presented with a choice between a higher and lower priced gasoline, you choose the lower priced gasoline. Gasolina B was my choice. While I was filling up the tank, the attendant ran out yelling, "Tío, tío, eso es diésel." Translation, dude, you're so screwed. With 36 euros wasted and 22 liters of diesel and 42 hours without sleep, I thought, why did I invite my brother? Although we're both 6'4", my brother and I don't see eye to eye. 5 years before this trip, when I was 17 and Brett was 20, our mother died. Even then, we didn't try to fix our relationship. Each of us knew the other existed, but we didn't really talk. If we talked, we'd fight. Not argue, but physically fight. The family was strained, emotionally hardened. We were in pain. Our mother, the Scotch tape that held us together, was gone. Without her, I resorted to Scotch whiskey. But after 5 years, I needed something more than a night spent drunk. I needed to make new memories. Before she died, I had talked to my mother about studying in Spain. Now here I was, trying to ease the pain of losing her. Maybe that's why I invited my brother. He was her son too. There in the parking lot of a gas station with a mine that turned to silly putty and a regular car filled with diesel, I accepted we wouldn't make it to Pamplona. I didn't care. My brother said, "No way we aren't going." "What? Won't the engine explode?" He said, "We'll put in regular every quarter of a tank." I said, "Yeah, assuming the engine doesn't explode." "We'll be fine." He tossed me the keys. "You drive." I sighed as I looked at the dumpster adjacent to the gas station. It seemed like such a nice place to sleep. While I turned the engine, I imagined the car exploding. The headline news in Spain: "Hold there. Estúpido Americans fill up car with gasolina bay. Die and fantastical fireworks display." Instead, after turning the engine, nothing happened until I pressed the gas pedal. The car shook, shimmied, and rattled, trying to process the foreign fuel. I took out my exhausted frustration on the gas pedal, pounding it repeatedly. For 15 minutes, the car clanked and clunked down the Spanish streets. My brother laughed. Then there was a pop. We saw a gray plume of smoke in the rearview mirror. But that was the worst of it. I laughed with my brother. On the empty highway, my brother and I talked. Drunk off exhaustion, we became philosophers. How did apple become the word for apples over all other possible words? Why not phenomena? We discussed the past and growing up, why things were so difficult, why things happened that way or this, why we were the way we were. We talked about asthma. What a stupid way to die. He said, "Mom loved you more." I said, "Ridiculous." "Yeah, she." I turned to him. "She what?" He fell asleep. He woke up when we arrived in Pamplona. I'd been up for 48 hours. A dense fog surrounded the city. It was eerily quiet. In the morning haze, the city streets looked like they were full of garbage. But as the clouds lifted, we saw the streets clearly, not lined with trash, but with sleeping bodies. Hundreds of people dressed in white and red, empty bottles of wine by their side. Like zombies smelling human flesh, they woke up one by one. Other people came out of their apartments. Within minutes, the streets were filled with life. The running path was clearly marked. For the first time, my brother and I agreed on something. We weren't running. We tried to claim good places to watch the action, but our tired legs could barely move. We walked all the way to where the path ended, by the entrance of the bullfighting stadium, to find no spots available. No way we came all this way to miss the run. Then my brother pointed to a large tree. I followed him over to it. As a team, I hoisted him to a branch out of reach for anyone who wasn't 6'4". My brother positioned himself, then reached down for my hand. I jumped as he pulled. From there, we climbed a branch above a large statue and dropped down onto the statue's shoulders. And there we sat, with the perfect viewpoint. We were two brothers with roots in Key West, a world away in Pamplona, sitting on the shoulders of a statue of Ernest Hemingway. Together, we watched the sun rise and the running of the bulls. When it was over, my brother jumped down first. I followed.